Okay, welcome in. I'm now going to be reviewing Tuesday's action from the NHL, starting with an original six matchup as the Montreal Canadiens played host to the New York Rangers. In the first period, Mika Zibanejad would get his second goal of the season from Fox and Panarin just under a minute into that frame. 2 minutes and 5 seconds into that same period, Johnny Brodzinski would increase the lead to 2-0, getting his first goal of the year, assisted by Edstrom and Schneider. Riley Smith would increase the lead to 3-0, getting a goal unassisted, his second goal of the year. At that point, the Rangers had a 3-0 lead. They would increase the lead to 4-0, 11 minutes and 5 seconds of the first. For Sheedle, that'd be his second goal of the season, a power play marker from Smith and Kako. Nick Suzuki would finally get the Habs on the board, getting his first goal of the year from Anderson and Savard, 12 minutes and 52 seconds of that same frame. In the second period, he would cut the deficit in half, getting the second goal of the game, the second goal of the season, a power play marker from Matheson and Kirby Dach. Brandon Schneider would increase the lead to 5-2, getting his second goal of the season from Cheadle and Capo Caco, 8 minutes and 57 seconds of the frame, making it 5-2 at that point. In the third period, Cheadle would score, getting his third goal of the game, I believe. Cheadle. Oh, sorry, just a second goal of the game, I apologize. His third goal of the season from Cooley and Carrick, and that goal happened 15 minutes and 41 seconds of the third. And then less than a minute after that, Capo Caco, he'd get his first goal of the season from Cooley and Mancini, I believe is how you pronounce his name. So 7-2 would be the final score in favor of the Rangers. Take a look at the Philadelphia Flyers as they played host to the Washington Capitals. So in the first period, Nick Dowd would get his first goal of the season, a shorthanded marker assisted by Verhaeghe, if I pronounce that name correctly. Andrew Mangiapane would get his second goal of the year from McMichael, 15 minutes and 7 seconds of the first period. Both those goals, by the way, were shorthanded markers. There was no scoring in the second. We have to go all the way ahead to the third, where Travis Sanheim would finally get his first goal of the year from York and Michkov, with just under a minute into the third period. And then John Carlson would increase the lead to 3-1, getting his second goal of the season from McMichael and Strome. And that's where we would stand. No, I apologize. Then Jacob Chechurkin would get his second goal of the season from Duhaime and Verena, 14 minutes and 7 seconds of the third. So it would be 4-1 in favor of the Capitals. The Florida Panthers played host to the Minnesota Wild. In the first period, Marco Rossi would get his third goal of the season from Kaprizov and Middleton, 11 minutes and 40 seconds of the first. Marcus Johansson would get his first goal of the year from Boldy and Broden, and that goal happened just 22 seconds after Rossi scored. In the second period, Boldy would get his third goal of the year, a power play marker from Zuccarello and Eriksson Ek, just over 2 minutes into the second period. Sam Bennett would finally get the Panthers on board, getting his fifth of the year from Verhaeghe and Matthew Tkachuk, 11 minutes and 19 seconds of the second frame. Matt Zuccarello would increase the lead to 4-1, getting his fourth goal of the season from Kaprizov and Middleton, and that goal happened 13 minutes and 58 seconds of the second frame. Joel Eriksson Ek would increase the lead to 5-1, getting his second goal of the season, assisted by Middleton, and that goal happened 16 minutes and 5 seconds of the second frame. There was no scoring in the third, so 5-1 would be the final score in favor of the Wild. Now we're off to New Jersey, where the Devils played host to the Tampa Bay Lightning. The Lightning just came off a poor outing in Toronto the night before, so needless to say, they took it out on the Devils. Jack Hughes would open up the scoring in the first, getting his second goal of the season from Bratt and Palat, 11 minutes and 2 seconds of the first. Braden Point, would tie the game up, getting his fourth goal of the year from Chiarelli and Kucherov, a power play marker assisted 14 minutes and 9 seconds of the first period. So we're all tied up at 1 heading into the second period. Timo Meier would score just 51 seconds into the second, getting his third goal of the year, assisted by Jack Hughes. At that point, the Devils had the lead. Victor Hedman would get his first goal of the season from Moser and Gensel, 7 minutes and 34 seconds of the second frame, tying the game up at 2. Brandon Hagel would break the tie, getting his third goal of the year from Chiarelli and Perovics, 9 minutes and 27 seconds of that second period. He would score again just over 4 minutes, so just over 2.5 minutes after that. Sorry, 3.5 minutes after that, I should say. Getting his second goal of the game, his fourth of the season from Geeky and Sorelli. He would then get a hat trick with just over 3 minutes to go in the period. So just over 4 minutes to go in the period. Fifth goal of the year, assist by Lilleberg and Sorelli. Victor Hedman with his second goal of the game from Hagel and Moser, and that goal happened in 17 minutes and 28 seconds of the second frame. So it was 6-2 heading into the third period. Nathan Batsian would cut the deficit in half, getting his second goal of the season, assisted by Lazar. 2 minutes and 56 seconds of the third period. Timo Meyer would cut the deficit to 6-4, getting his fourth goal of the year from Tatar and Nemec, 5 minutes and 24 seconds of the third period. Jake Gensel will get a power play goal just 24 seconds after Meyer scored, getting his second goal of the season, assisted by Kucherov, making it 7-4 at that point. JJ Moser will get a shorthanded goal, getting his second goal of the year from Nick Paul, 9 minutes and 19 seconds of the third. And Stefan Neeson would get a power play goal, his third of the season, from Jack Hughes and Dougie Hamilton. And that goal happened with 12 minutes. That goal happened at 12 minutes and 45 seconds of the third period. So 8-5 would be the final score in favor of the Lightning. Talk about a bounce back game. All right, now we're off to Buffalo as the Sabres played host to the Dallas Stars. There was no scoring in the first, so we jump ahead to the second, where Peyton Krebs would get his first goal of the season from Malestein and Owen Power, 12 minutes and 21 seconds of the second period. Ryan McLeod would get his fourth goal of the year from Zucker and Power, 13 minutes and 44 seconds of the second frame. So heading into the third period, it was 2-0 in favor of the Sabres. Tage Thompson would increase the lead to 3-0, getting his fifth goal of the year from Power and Tuck, 4 minutes and 17 seconds of the third, making it 3-0 at that point. Thomas Harley would get his first goal of the year from Duchesne and Danilov, cutting the deficit to 3-2, 15 minutes and 24 seconds of the third. Tyler Seguin would cut the deficit to 3-2 with 2 minutes and 12 seconds remaining. For Seguin, that'd be his third goal of the year from Dadonov and Borg. The Stars would pull the goalie. Unfortunately, it would not work out as Alex Tuck would strike in the empty net, assisted by Tage Thompson, and that goal happened with just 11 seconds to go in the game. So 4-2 would be the final score in favor of the Sabres. Now we're off to Columbus, where the Blue Jackets played host to the Toronto Maple Leafs. In the first period, James Van Riemsdyk still seems kind of odd to see him in a Blue Jackets uniform. We'll get his second goal of the season from Provorov and Kevin Labanc, 5 minutes and 29 seconds of the first. Justin Danforth will get his first goal of the season from Zach Werenski, and that goal happened just 52 seconds after that. 52 seconds after Van Riemsdyk opened up the scoring. 2-0 at that point in favor of the Blue Jackets. Mathieu Olivier would get his second goal of the season from Danforth and Christensen, 12 minutes and 42 seconds of the first. So it's 3-0 in favor of the Blue Jackets heading into the second period. Sean Monahan would increase the lead to 4-0, getting his third goal of the year from Marchenko and Zach Werenski, 5 minutes and 35 seconds of the second frame. Mathieu Olivier would get his second goal of the game, his third of the season, from Aston Reese and Danforth, 11 minutes and 36 seconds of the second. Matthew Knies would finally get the Leafs on the board, getting his third goal of the season, unassisted, with 1 minute and 1 second remaining in the second period. So heading into the third, it was 5-1 in favor of the Blue Jackets. Kirill Marchenko would increase the lead to 6-1, getting his third goal of the season from Monahan and Sillinger, 11 minutes and 58 seconds of the third, making it 6-1 at that point in favor of the Blue Jackets. And Nick Robertson would get the last goal of the game, his first of the season from Tavares and Benoit, 13 minutes and 3 seconds of the third period. So the Blue Jackets absolutely crushed the Maple Leafs. 6-2 would be the final score. The Detroit Red Wings taking on the New York Islanders, and just the one goal in the game, and there's no point in even clicking on the game center. Patrick Kane got the only goal, the game-winning goal from Tarasenko and JT Compher at 8 minutes and 54 seconds of the first period. So 1-0 will be the final score in favor of Detroit. The St. Louis Blues played host to the still undefeated Winnipeg Jets. In the first period, Brandon Saad would get his first goal of the year from Thomas and Parayko, 10 minutes, 11 seconds of the first, so the Blues had a 1-0 lead heading into the second period. Nito Niederreiter would tie the game up, getting a power play goal, his second of the season, from Pionk and Perfetti, 8 minutes and 12 seconds of the second. Colin Miller would get his first goal of the season from Perfetti and Ehlers, 13 minutes and 58 seconds of the second. Kyle Connor would increase the lead to 3-1, getting his fifth goal of the year from Sandberg and Perfetti, and that goal happened with 2 minutes and 20 seconds remaining in the second period. So the Blues scored 1 in the first. The Jets got 3 unanswered in the second. So heading into the third period, it was 3-1 in favor of Winnipeg. Brandon Saad with his second goal of the game from Kyrou and Rob Thomas, 5 minutes and 15 seconds of the third. And that's as close as the Blues would come to tying the game up. So the Jets are still undefeated, and they're the lone undefeated team in the NHL. Alrighty, now we're off to Chicago, where the Blackhawks played host to the Vancouver Canucks. In the first period, Danton Heinen would get his first goal as a member of the Vancouver Canucks from Blueger and Sherwood, just 21 seconds into the first frame. JT Miller would get his third goal of the season from Hughes and Garland, a power play marker, 6 minutes and 1 second of the first. Ryan Donato would cut the deficit to 2-1, getting his second goal of the season from Dickinson and Vlasic. Danton Heinen would strike again, getting his second goal of the game from Hronek and Sherwood, 10 minutes and 46 seconds of the first. Taylor Hall would make it 3-2, getting his second goal of the season from Murphy at 13 minutes and 29 seconds of the first. Connor Garland increased the lead to 4-2, getting his third goal of the year from Pettersson and JT Miller, 15 minutes and 17 seconds of the first period. So we had 6 goals scored in the first period. There was no scoring in the second and the third. Brock Besser would increase the lead to 5-2. For Besser, that'll be his fourth goal of the year, a power play marker from Miller and Hughes, 10 minutes and 20 seconds of the period. Pius Sutter would get his first goal of the season, just 39-49. 29 seconds after that, from Brandstrand and Amon, making it 6-2 in favor of the Canucks. Tyler Bertuzzi would get a power play goal late in the third, his second goal of the season from Foligno and Seth Jones. 6-3 would be the final score in favor of the Canucks. The Seattle Kraken played host to the Colorado Avalanche. In the first, Joel Kiviranta will get a second goal of the season from Malinsky, and that goal happened with 1 minute and 28 seconds remaining in the first. So heading into the second, the Avs had a 1-0 lead. Jared McCann would tie the game up, getting his fourth goal of the season, unassisted, 11 minutes and 57 seconds of the second. Joel Kiviranta will get his second goal of the game, his third of the year, from Makar and Ivan, and that goal happened with 5 minutes and 4 seconds remaining on the clock. With just 8 seconds remaining in the period, Nathan McKinnon would increase the lead to 3-2, getting a power play goal from Makar and Middlestad. So heading into the third period, the Avs had a 3-1 lead. Riker Evans would get a power play goal with just 5 seconds to go in the game from Tolvanen and Burakovsky, making it 3-2. And then obviously there wasn't enough time for the Kraken to tie the game up, so the Avs would win this with the final score 3-2. Nashville played host to the Boston Bruins. So Ryan O'Reilly would kick things off in the first, getting his second goal of the season, a power play marker from Josi and Forsberg, 17 minutes and 16 seconds of the first. In the second period, Tommy Novak would increase the lead to 2-0, getting his third goal of the year from Evangelista and Brady Shea, and that goal happened with 3 minutes and 5 seconds remaining on the clock. Gustav Nyquist would get his first goal of the season from O'Reilly and Josi, 12 minutes and 47 seconds of the third. And for some reason, the Bruins pulled their goalie with over 6 minutes to go, and Evangelista would get an empty net goal unassisted. For Evangelista, that'd be his first goal of the season. So Nashville, after getting off to an 0-5 start, finally got their first win of the season, and thank God, because I have Saros on my fantasy team. I was like this close to dropping him. So as long as he can play better throughout the season, I'll be happy. But I think he was 0-4 or something like that heading into this game. So I'm very pleased he was able to get a win and a shutout as well. The Edmonton Oilers played host to the Carolina Hurricanes. So Connor McDavid would open up the scoring in the first, getting his second goal of the season from Ryan Nugent-Hopkins just over 3 minutes into the first. In the second period, McDavid would strike again, getting a power play goal, his third of the year, from Draisaitl and Evan Bouchard, 2 minutes and 30 seconds of the second frame. So heading into the third, the Oilers had a 2-0 lead. Shane Gothenberg would score, getting his fourth goal of the season, a power play goal from Nietzsche and Aho. I had him on my fantasy team as well, so Tuesday was pretty good for me, to say the least. With 6.5 minutes to go, Martin Nietzsche would tie the game up, getting his second goal of the season from Robinson and Kotkaniemi. We would need overtime to settle this one, and with just, I think, like 16 seconds to go, Sebastian Aho would get the game-winning goal, his second of the season, from Nietzsche and Shane Gothenberg. So despite the fact that they into the third period, they weren't able to get any more scoring and eventually would fall to the Hurricanes in overtime. Alrighty, off to Utah, as the Utah Hockey Club played host to the Ottawa Senators. In the first period, Drake Batherson would open up the scoring, getting his fourth goal of the year from Norris and Jensen, 11 minutes and 43 seconds of the first. Claude Giroux would increase the lead to 2-0, getting his second goal of the year from Jensen. Ridley Gregg got a power play goal late in the first, his first of the season, and that will happen with 1 minute and 55 seconds to go on the clock. And then Brady Tkachuk would score with just 8 seconds remaining, getting his third goal of the year from Shabbat and Tim Stützle. So it was 4-0 for the Sens after one period of play, but there was no scoring in the second or third, respectively. So that's where we would stand at the end of regulation. The Calgary Flames played host to the Pittsburgh Penguins. In the first period, Rasmus Andersson would kick things off, getting his third goal of the year from Kirkland and Lomberg in 11 minutes and 48 seconds of the first frame. In the second period, Brian Rust would tie the game up at 1, getting his second goal of the year, a power play marker from Crosby and Erik Karlsson, 6 minutes and 31 seconds of the second period. Raquel would break the tie over 2 minutes into the third, getting his fourth goal of the year from Kevin Hayes and Grizzlejic. Mackenzie Weegar would tie the game up 7 minutes and 46 seconds of that same frame, getting his third goal of the year from Miro Manov and Blake Coleman. Noel Acciari would score his first goal of the season from Glass and Pettersson, 13 minutes and 40 seconds of the third, giving the Penguins a 3-2 lead at that point. Nazem Kadri would tie the game up with just 43 seconds to go, getting his third goal of the year from Coleman and Rasmus Andersson. Overtime didn't settle anything. This would go to a shootout, and Justin Kirkland would get the game-winning goal for the Flames. So 4-3 would be the final in favor of Calgary. Now we're off to Anaheim as the Ducks played host to the San Jose Sharks. There was no scoring in the first. In the second, Troy Terry would get his fourth goal of the year, a power play marker from Lacombe and Gauthier, 6 minutes and 56 seconds of the second period. In the third period, Michael Granlund would tie the game up, getting a power play goal of his own from Ekblad and Thompson, 4 minutes and 55 seconds of the third. Leo Carlson would break the tie over 5 minutes into that period, getting his third goal of the year from Gauthier and McTavish, a power play goal for him. And the Sharks would pull their goalie. Unfortunately, it would not work out as Alex Killorn would strike the empty net goal, his first of the season from Lundstrom. And that goal happened with 1 minute and 51 seconds to go on the clock. So the Ducks would win this game by a final score 3-1. And the last game from Tuesday, there was a lot of games. The Vegas Golden Knights played host to the Los Angeles Kings. In the first period, Thomas Hertl would get a power play goal from Stone and Eichel, 9 minutes and 7 seconds of the first, power play marker. Mark Stone will get his third goal of the year from Hertl and Hanifin, a power play goal for him, 13 minutes and 51 seconds of the first. Pavel Dorofeyev would get his third goal of the year, 15 minutes and 12 seconds of the same period from Hertl and Korachek. So heading into the second period, the Golden Knights had a 3-0 lead. Warren Foegele would get his first goal for the Los Angeles Kings from Edmondson and Spence, and that goal happened with just 53 seconds to go in the second. So it was 3-1 heading into the third period. Alexander Holtz would get his first goal as a member of the Vegas Golden Knights from Pietrangelo, 2 minutes and 59 seconds of the third, giving the Vegas Golden Knights a 4-1 lead. Thomas Hurdle would strike again, getting his second goal of the game, his third of the season from Pietrangelo and Dorofeyev. 8 minutes and 26 seconds of the third. And then Ivan Barbashev would increase the lead to 6-1, getting his fifth goal of the year from Stone and Pietrangelo. And that goal happened with 6 minutes and 35 seconds to go on the clock. So the Vegas Golden Knights would win big, 6-1, and that would be the final score. All right, that takes care of Tuesday's recap from the NHL season. As always, if you're new to this channel and you like this type of content, feel free to hit the sub button. I'd be very grateful and very appreciative. Until next time, and as always, take care.